A, B, C, D, X, P, Q, R, X, Y, D. Hello?
Scott Thompson's affection for Queen Elizabeth runs deep. His larger-than-life impersonation poked fun at the monarch's gestures and mannerisms, but also her long and sometimes complicated relationship with this country.
Now, Canada, I want you never to forget that without me, you are nothing. Yes, it's true. I am the only thing that holds you together.
And long before this send-up on Kids in the Hall, Queen Elizabeth loomed large in Thompson's life growing up. And Scott Thompson joins us now. How are you?
I'm very good.
Listen, that was funny. Even you were laughing when you saw those clips.
Yeah. I like looking at myself when I'm funny, when I'm the queen.
And listen, when I heard we were doing this interview, I thought, really? Like Scott is just so satirical and acerbic. What are you going to actually say about the Queen? Turns out you're very fond of her.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I loved her. I grew up in a family that was very royalist. My mother was obsessed with the Queen. And when we would come in our house, in the foyer, there would be a small picture of the family and then a huge picture of the royal family.
Wow.
And I realize now that my mother modeled herself on the Queen.
In what way?
Well, dignity,
grace,
you know what I mean? That sort of thing.
So these aren't jokes. Looked at the best traits of the Queen and modeled herself against them.
But my thing, when I started doing the Queen, I just wanted to. I didn't want to. We know nothing about her because she was such a blank slate. We could project whatever we wanted onto her. So I just projected. I just wanted to play her as a young woman. I always think of her as young, no matter how old. She's a young woman with high spirits. She's in love. She's a little wacky, and that's it. So I never really was impersonating her. I tried to do the voice, and I had an accident of genetics to look like her, but I would do the hand gestures and all the rest of it. But I just wanted to get at the real person, the girl inside of her.
So besides the role that the Queen played in terms of being a role model for your mom, you wrote, and I wasn't sure if it was a joke, that your dad dressed up as the Queen?
Yeah, because my father is a very funny man, and he wanted to be an actor when he was young. And we would have these big family gatherings every summer with that side of the family. And him and his brothers and the brothers-in-law, they would all dress up every year. And one year, see, it wasn't all the time, but there was this one year he dressed as the Queen. And we were astounded because he looked like her, because he's the spitting image of her. And he was hilarious that day. So yes, my father didn't mind dressing up or getting into drag or anything. So yeah, and it's funny, I've realized as well that my mother is an identical twin. And she had a sister.
You just realized that now?
No. My aunt was my mother. But I realized that her and her sister, Fran, kind of modeled themselves on Margaret and Elizabeth. My mother was the older one by a few minutes, so she was the serious one, and Annie Fran was the fun one.
So all of this I wasn't expecting, I didn't know, and I wonder now, when you heard of the Queen's passing on Thursday, what was your reaction?
I was very sad. I mean, I knew it was coming, obviously, but I felt a sadness that I didn't quite expect, because I realized it's not the institution that I was in love with, it was the woman, the person.
You know, on radio today, on Cross Country Checkup, we had a lot of people calling in about the impact the Queen had on them, and it was really deep and surprising to me. What about the impact she had on you?
Well, I think she was just a great role model. The thing that I take from her...
A role model for you?
Yes.
Yeah.
In terms of the idea that you can't really control what life is going to throw at you. You only can control how you react to it and how you behave when it's given to you. And for her, she didn't think she would be the Queen, but suddenly these series of tragedies happened and she became Queen. And she didn't cry about it or whinge about it, just went, well, that's my duty. And she went on with it. And that's my mother. My mother was always like, whatever happens, you don't whine about it, you just get on with it. And that's what I found fascinating, just get on with it.
I love talking to you, and this was a pleasant surprise about your sort of fondness for the Queen. Thank you very much.
Thank you.